Hey, fellow readers, I'm Jessica.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is Series Sisters. Cool song.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am good.
Good news?
Yep.
Yep.
A little warm at the moment.
Well, you're the one who wore a hoodie.
It was cold. Finally. Chilly and rainy.
Yeah,
just like
is.
I like it.
I need the sun, though. It's been a couple days now. I need the sun.
I see. I noticed your daughter got glasses.
Yes. Tuesday, she got glasses.
Pretty cute.
They're very cute. She went to a place. You know what? Fuck it. She went to the eye doctors here in Topeka, Kansas.
Uh-oh.
And they apparently reading through the reviews, it is common that people love the doctors but hate the front staff, like whatever. I guess they were rude and there was some confusion on the insurance, and then they didn't give Josh, my husband, the prescription. Like normally when you go places, they give you your prescription so that you can go get your glasses wherever. Mm-hmm. The way they made it seem is that they gatekeep that information. They keep it and make it seem like they're not going to give you the prescription, so you have to buy the glasses at that place, and they are a lot more expensive. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, Josh, just get the prescription. I'll take her, because they also quoted him 14 to 18 business days, which is like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she's just not. I mean, she hasn't seen up to this point, but she's
What's
just supposed
3
to.
more weeks?
Right, what's 3 more weeks? And Josh was like, that's stupid. I can go down the street to Success Vision and get him in an hour.
Yeah.
And that's when he was like, you know what? Just can I have the prescription? And then they couldn't get it printed, and it was effing ridiculous. Finally, they got it printed. I took her after school, picked out some glasses in maybe 20 minutes. The time it took for me to drive, maybe 10 minutes from there to my house. We were home for 5 minutes, and I got a message saying her glasses were ready to pick up. It's just absurd. Josh left a review. The woman called him and was like, this is not our policy to gatekeep that information. I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. It's like, whatever. So.
You guys.
But the daughter looked really good in the glasses, and she's really excited about them. Mm-hmm. So, and the thing that makes me mad, too, is the fact that I know if I had gone with her and not Josh, they would have been way more rude to me, because women.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I also have been to the eye doctor since I was 2 years old. I know the routine. Mm-hmm. So don't try to sit there and tell me that it's wrong. We would have had some words. But you see a dad out with his kid, and you're like, oh, isn't that cute? Dad had to take him to the appointment. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Get me
Double
all riled
standard.
up. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Well, okay. Let's see. Anything else going on?
Anything cool happen with you?
No. Halloween's coming up.
Yeah, Halloween.
All the kids got costumes.
Are you dressing up?
No.
Me
I
neither.
would, but that costs money.
It does. And it's like, we don't even have anywhere to... We're old. We don't get invited to parties. We could have our own, but it'd just be you, me, and the people. The people.
And the people.
You, me, and the people.
Yeah. But we'll do the usual trick-or-treating and all that.
What's the baby being?
Fluttershy.
Yes.
From My Little Pony. Very exciting.
That makes me.
Then I've got one being a pterodactyl. And then...
Is it one of those puffy ones?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
An inflatable one.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that. Make sure you have batteries. That's what this means. Because that shit will die when you're halfway around the block, and it'll be
just drooping.
A whole thing. Okay. So.
Then the other one is some kind of royal guard from the Owl House. That's what it's called. Hunter.
I don't know what that is, but
Golden Guard.
Okay.
He's amazing.
I bet it's great.
Yeah, it's an animated show, but I haven't watched it. So, yeah.
Mine's being the shit. It's called something. Hold on. A brown-fronted goose. I feel like there's another word involved.
Why can't it just be a goose?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's very important to her that it's this specific goose. So I made her a shawl for the wings, and I made her 2 leg warmers. And then the other kids being the Grim Reaper. That costume was easy. We just bought it. So.
Okay. Do you remember where we left off?
Oh, no.
Okay, hold on. First, trigger warning in the beginning. There's domestic violence talk again.
Okay.
And this October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Hey,
so
would you
this
look
worked
at that?
out. Reminder, you can email us, super, Series Sisters Podcast at Gmail, and we will, give you resources if you need them. If you're not into gore, I tried to leave a lot of the gore out, and just a little bit.
Just a little bit of gore.
I think that's it. So, did you remember where we left off? It's okay if you don't. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot. I'm trying to remember what happened. Like, there's so many things. Refresh my memory.
Okay.
Yeah, see? Can't do it.
Okay, so Elias bit Margaret's arm.
But Catherine couldn't see him.
But Catherine couldn't see him.
The pillows were up. I remember that. And she was like, sorry they do that.
And then when Catherine was taking Margaret to clean up the wound, all the knives were in the bathroom.
That's right. And then Catherine took him and locked him in the bedroom with herself because she thinks Mom's gone crazy.
Yes.
Okay.
That's pretty much all you need to know.
Okay.
So now Margaret sits on the kitchen floor in front of the basement door. She can hear
because Catherine was about to go down the stairs.
No.
Earlier.
I'm sure she went down the stairs at some point.
Because she yelled, no! And then she was like, Jesus, Mom.
That was like the day before or something.
Oh.
She said there was mold in the basement.
Yeah.
Not to go down there. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then this is another day.
This is a different day.
Yeah.
Different day.
Different day, guys.
Different mold. Okay.
She can hear Catherine on the phone upstairs arguing with Claire. Catherine was...
It's a family name.
The fat girl's name.
Thank you. You're welcome. I'm not that.
Well, not at present.
See, you're really pushing maximum density. Okay. Breakfast Club. Carry on.
Catherine's asking to speak to Claire's new girlfriend because she's a therapist. And she's worried about Margaret, so she kind of wants some advice.
Okay, I see.
Margaret watches as Angelica and all of her September friends appear one by one. Catherine can't see you, she says to them. Margaret thinks to herself, Hal had been able to see them, hadn't he? He saw Elias, and he for sure saw Master Vale. The pranksters must be fickle about who sees them. Frederica sits down on the floor by Margaret. Margaret says, My child thinks I'm crazy. You're not, Frederica responds.
Are we sure?
Well, we'll see.
We'll see, won't we?
For most of their lives together, Hal had seemed to understand the unspoken rule Margaret had set. His fists and his unpredictable anger, Catherine was to be spared all of it. But when Catherine was 15 or 16, Margaret returned home from the grocery store and heard yelling. At first, she thought Hal was yelling at her, and she tried searching her brain for something she could have done wrong. But as Margaret entered the house, she realized Hal was yelling at Catherine. Apparently, a male friend had dropped Catherine off at home after school.
Oh, no.
Hal was screaming at her, calling her a whore, saying other terrible things I didn't put in here.
Thank you.
Catherine was balled up in the corner. When Hal raised his fist, Margaret screamed, No! And tackled Hal to the ground. She looked at Catherine and told her to run. Margaret scrambled away from Hal and told him, You do not treat our daughter like that. Excuse me, Hal said. You can do whatever you like to me, but you do not lay a hand on our daughter. And if I ever catch you treating Catherine like that again, I swear to Christ, I will take her away from you. Do you understand me?
She should have been that badass about herself.
I know. Hal understood and showed his understanding by beating Margaret severely. After that, he left and went to the
Real
bar.
original Hal.
Yeah, come on. Get
Jeez.
a new idea there. Margaret couldn't even walk, had to crawl to the phone. She called her sister Noelle and told her she needed to come get Catherine. And that's when Catherine went and lived with Noelle for a little while. Catherine finishes her phone call and comes downstairs. Margaret's still sitting on the floor in front of the basement door with Frederica. Your nose is bleeding, Catherine says. Catherine helps Margaret to her feet and says, I have some questions for you. Clean your face and join me at the table. Margaret goes to the sink and turns the water on, but instead of water,
Damn it.
out comes blood, thick and dark. Can you see this? Margaret asks, pointing at the sink. Catherine looks up. See what? Jesus. Never mind, Margaret says. Catherine says, this is going to seem weird, but I have some questions for you. Just answer as honestly as possible, okay? There are no wrong answers, and nothing bad is going to happen. Catherine was reading whatever note she had gotten from Claire's girlfriend. What day is it? Catherine asked. Tuesday, Margaret says. It's Friday, Catherine says. What's today's date? Margaret thinks. Catherine had gotten in on the 11th, and that was about 6 days ago. The 17th. Catherine says, Mom, it's the 25th.
What the fuck? She's losing days.
Yeah. Where are you right now? Like the address. 33 Hawthorne Street, says Margaret, answering correctly. Julian suddenly appears at Margaret's side. He's down there.
Not now.
Catherine didn't see Julian, or doesn't see Julian, but she does see Margaret flinch. You okay? She asks. Perfectly fine, dear, Margaret says. Now, Angelica was on Margaret's other side. He's down there. Catherine says, count backwards from 50 by fives. Can you do that?
I was like, can I? Yeah, I can.
Sure. Okay.
49, 40, 25, 30.
Not bad.
Thank you.
Now, another new September ghost enters the kitchen.
Oh.
A boy with no legs drags himself into the room, a trail of blood following behind him. He's down there. Distracted, Margaret is unsuccessful at counting backwards by fives. Charles and Constance walk into Margaret's line of sight. He's down there. Margaret was still trying to count backwards by fives, but Julian has crawled up onto the kitchen table and squatted on all fours right in front of Margaret, his intestines drooping too close to her hand.
Ew.
Catherine says, never mind, let's try this one. I'm going to name 3 things. After I'm done, just repeat what I said, okay? Margaret has to lean around Julian to see Catherine and says, okay. Catherine says, he's down there. What? Margaret says.
I'm waiting.
Sorry, lost my place. Standing on the back of Margaret's chair, leaning over so her dirty hair dangled in front of Margaret's face, was Angelica. He's down there. Margaret says, he's down there. Catherine says, what? No. I said clock, wheel, tulip. Catherine scribbled something on a page in the notebook and hands it to Margaret. Read this and do what it says. On the page, Margaret reads, he's down there.
What the fuck?
She looks at Catherine and says, it's not telling me to do anything. Catherine says, Jesus Christ, can't you read this? It says, lift your hand. The pranksters continue crowding Margaret, chanting, he's down there. Catherine says, Mom, have you been forgetting things lately? You know, like forgetting you had the kettle boiling? Margaret says, that was one time. Catherine says,
That happened 2 times.
Catherine says, 5 times that I've counted.
Oh.
Are you seeing things? Margaret says, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Catherine says, Mom, that's bullshit. Earlier today, when you hurt your arm, you asked me if I could see him. Margaret says, all the things I see are really there. Catherine argues, I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I don't want anything to happen to you, and I'm really worried. I think I need to get you help. I think we need to go to the hospital. I'm not sick,
I'd be so mad.
Margaret says. You would be? Why?
I know she's just trying to help, but I would be like, I'm not sick. These motherfuckers are here.
But what if you were crazy?
Is it hurting anybody?
Her.
You can't just let me be crazy in my house.
Depends. We'll see how it goes for you.
Okay.
Catherine says, maybe I'm not being clear. We're going to the hospital now. Margaret stands up, and when she does, bursts through all the pranksters that had crowded around her. So then she feels all of their deaths.
Mm-hmm.
She tumbles to the ground with pain from feeling their deaths, and then she vomits.
Mm-hmm.
However, the vomit consists of a large quantity of dead black flies. Catherine,
see that?
Uh-huh.
You fucking
Freaks
see
out.
this, Catherine?
and says, Mom, have you been eating flies? Margaret's just as surprised to see the flies.
Yo, you been eating flies in there?
Hey, bro.
Bruh, you been eating flies?
You eating flies?
You eating them black flies?
While Catherine continues to convince Margaret to get up and go with her to the hospital, Catherine gets a phone call from the police. They want her to come down to the station because they found something.
Mm-mm.
So she says to Margaret, I'll be back soon. This isn't over. So while she's gone, Margaret cleans up the fly vomit. Then she grabs a shovel and a trash bag. It's time to dig up Elias's mother again. She retrieves the bones and goes back inside the house. The basement door flies open. She drops the bag of bones and rushes to slam it shut. The door continues to open as Margaret tries with all her might to keep it shut. Oblivious, Frederica passes by carrying an armful of family photos that had been hanging in the living room.
Okay.
Margaret calls to Frederica, asking her to do something to help. Frederica nods and grabs the bag of bones and disappears around the corner. That wasn't what she had in mind. Margaret screams at the door, "Stay away!" And she races to grab a chair and gets it wedged under the doorknob. Margaret collapses to the floor, exhausted. She thinks she needs to get the boards back on the basement door, and she needs to call Father Cyrus immediately.
I don't know that he's willing to come back.
Well, she grabs her phone and calls the church. Margaret speaks to the priest and finds out that shortly after his last visit, Father Cyrus had died. So he won't be coming back.
He won't be coming back.
Margaret hears Catherine pull into the driveway and race into the house. Mom, why the fuck are you covered in mud? And why is there glass everywhere? Why is there a chair in front of the door? Margaret ignores Catherine's questions and changes the subject. Catherine tells Margaret that the police found something. The police spoke to the worker at the motel and found out the last time anyone saw Hal, he had gotten into a cab around midnight. The police then went and spoke to the cab driver, and he remembered Hal. Catherine says that last night anyone saw him, he came back to this house. The cab brought him back here. Margaret doesn't say anything, but looks out the window and sees the bright strobe of red and blue lights illuminating the driveway.
Oh, no. Oh, you're going to pause? You're going to pause right there?
Bevy break. There are 4 police officers this time.
Really? For an old woman, you need 4 police officers?
You'll see.
Okay.
Jones and McDouglas again, along with 2 young guys named Price and Coop. Been doing a little yard work? McDouglas asks when he sees Margaret's muddy appearance. Price and Coop go upstairs to look around. Jones and McDouglas repeat what Catherine had told Margaret. What Catherine had told Margaret. That Hal had entered a cab around midnight carrying 2 large, heavy-looking containers. They had tracked down the cab driver, which wasn't difficult since it was a small town. The cab driver remembered Hal because of the containers he had with him. He said he didn't know what was in the containers, but his cab smelled like gasoline and stank for a week.
I thought you were going to say ass.
My cab smells like ass.
My cab smelled like ass. I would never forget that.
The driver said he dropped Hal off about half a mile away from the house, which the driver thought was weird because it looked like he was just dropping him off in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to need to ask you some more questions about the night Hal left, Jones says. The pranksters had scattered, spooked by all the new activity in the house. A good thing, too.
Like cats.
Margaret thinks, yeah. Scatter! She had a feeling this conversation would warrant her full attention. So now we're kind of going to go from, like, the conversation she's having with Jones and her memory of what happened.
Okay.
Margaret retells Jones the same story she already told, that they had been having disagreements and Hal wanted to leave. But the truth was, Hal wanted to do more than leave. Hal had told Margaret, "We have to burn it down." Margaret told him, "You are not burning this house down." "Margaret," Hal had said, "the things in this house are evil. You know this." Coop and Price rejoined them after looking around upstairs. Coop says that the rooms were a little messy, a stack of dishes on the toilet, a bunch of pillows that had been ripped apart. Price says, "It smells like bleach. There are worn spots on the walls like someone has been trying to scrub something off."
It's the blood, sir.
"Why didn't he like it here?" Jones asks. Margaret says, He was used to me going along with things, with whatever he wanted, but I wouldn't do it this time." "Why not?" Jones asked. "Because this is my home." "This is our home," Margaret had told Hal. "No, it isn't. This is their home, and it needs to burn." Jones says, "All right, let's skip ahead to the night Hal left. Tell me what you remember." Margaret says, "He decided he was going to move out with or without me."
Okay.
"I'm going to do it," Hal had said.
I'm gonna do it.
"Come with me, please, come with me." Hal had gotten down on his knees, clutching at Margaret's hips, begging, "I'll end this without you if I have to, but God, Margaret, I don't want to. Don't make me do this without you." But Margaret refused to go. Jones says, "Tell me about his mood." "He wasn't angry, he was sad," says Margaret. Price wriggled the chair out from underneath the basement doorknob. Margaret
Don't go down there.
swings her head in that direction, panicked. "Something wrong?" Jones asks. "There's mold down there, black mold," Margaret says. "I'm sure he'll be fine," says Jones. Price disappears down the basement stairs, followed by Coop. Jones says, "You were talking about the night Hal left." "He left. He called a cab, got in, and left." "And did you see or hear from him again?" Jones asks. "No," Margaret says. Nothing.
I
Are
just
you
want to
okay?
know what's happening.
Nothing happened that first night Hal was gone. But a little after midnight, that second night, Margaret heard somebody moving through the house. Margaret recognized Hal's footsteps. She heard him approach the stairs and slowly ascend. He stopped halfway up the stairs like he changed his mind and went back down. Margaret heard a scrape and a grunt like he was carrying something heavy. She heard him walking around on the first floor, and slowly the smell of gasoline wafted up to the bedroom. Is it wafted or wafted?
I think it's waft.
Waft?
I always say waft.
Okay. Margaret heard him walk to the kitchen and pry the boards off the basement door. Then she heard the creak of the door opening and heard his footsteps fade down the basement stairs. Margaret closed her eyes and drifted off to sleep. She was kind of ready just to, like,
Fuck it. If he wants to go down there, then he can go down there.
well, if he burns the house down, I guess I'm going too.
Okay. Well, all right. Fair enough.
She was only partially surprised to find that that she opened her eyes the next morning. She walked to the living room, and the smell of gasoline was strong. She walked to the kitchen. The boards from the basement door were scattered across the floor, and the crowbar was propped up against the wall. The door was closed. From the looks of it, it had slammed so hard that a small crack snaked down from the top of the door to nearly midway to the doorknob. "Jones? McDouglas?"
Uh-oh. Oh, what's down there?
Price says from the doorway. He looks like he's going to be sick and says, "He's down there." McDouglas grabs his flashlight and races down the stairs just as Coop is coming back up, looking equally as nauseated. "My God, what did you do to him?" Coop says. Catherine races towards the basement door, but Coop stops her and says, "Trust me, you don't want to see him." Catherine cries and says, "Oh God, he's been down there the whole time?" Coop says, "It would appear so, ma'am." McDouglas comes back upstairs and tells Jones, "We're going to need to call homicide." Jones turns to Margaret, holding handcuffs. Margaret, she says. Wait, Margaret says. It was time for honesty. That wasn't me. It was the house. Well, not the house specifically, Master Vale. It was Master Vale who did that, I promise.
At least she can plead insanity, right?
Margaret attempts to explain Master Vale and the pranksters that come and go in September. Everyone exchanges looks, but Margaret continues. There are things that live in this house, people that used to live here. Bad things happen to them, but they aren't bad people, not all of them. Like, there's a housekeeper and a boy, Elias. See? Margaret rolls up her sleeves to show her scars and new wounds from Elias. He's not bad, he just bites. Catherine says, I think she did that to herself. The older scars, I thought Dad did that, but now I don't know. I don't think she's well. I think she's seeing things. Hal could see the pranksters too, some of them. He didn't like Elias, but he really didn't like Master Vale.
Sucks that he's dead, because
Yeah.
he could corroborate.
That's what Hal was doing. He was going to burn it all down, but Master Vale got him. Margaret tries to explain what happened to Father Cyrus when he opened the basement door and all the flies came out. The police had seen the flies the first time they came to the house. Ma'am, the flies are here because there's a dead body in the basement, Price says. Catherine says, I think she's been eating the flies. She vomited earlier. Margaret interrupts. You really haven't seen any of them? Not Elias, not Angelica and her friends? There is a broken man who lives in the closet in your room upstairs. There's a what? Catherine says. His name is Jasper. Don't worry, he doesn't do much. He just flicks a match and it never lights. He tried to burn the house down too. Have you seen him? Catherine says, I haven't seen anything. What about the blood? Margaret asks. Did any of you see the blood? There's blood that pours from the walls upstairs. I clean it, but it keeps coming back. Did you see it? Their incredulous looks told Margaret that they had not seen the blood. Margaret says, Elias's mother. Her bones are somewhere in the house. All the officers' hands snap to their guns. Margaret says, No, I didn't kill her. She died ages ago. She was buried out back. I feel bad about digging her up, I really do. But when I do, Elias goes away for a little bit, and things get a little more peaceful. They were in a garbage bag. Frederica moved them. I don't know where she put them.
Yeah, she does sound a little fucked up.
Catherine says, Is that why you look like that, Mom? Were you trying to dig up a dead body? This is going poorly, Margaret thinks. She needs someone on her side that believes her.
Edie!
Edie, Margaret shouts. Edie has seen them too. She's my next door neighbor. We are close friends. She knows everything. Call Edie. Jones and McDouglas
too,
exchange a look. Jones asks, Your next door neighbor? Margaret says, Yes. She lives just next door. She walks over all the time. McDouglas says, Ma'am, you don't have any neighbors out here. The closest house is nearly 10 miles away. Jones looks at Catherine. Have you met this Edie person? Catherine shakes her head. No, nobody has been here except you guys. Margaret says, You have seen Edie. That morning you came back from the bartenders, Edie and I were talking on the front porch. You walked right past us, and Edie waved at you. Catherine says, No, Mom, you were alone.
No. Okay. See, by that point, I would think, oh shit, maybe I am crazy. After the Edie. But up to that point, I would think, no, they're just ghosts and you motherfuckers can't see them, but it's real. But then.
If I kept hearing these things, yeah. No, Mom, you were alone. I remember because I thought it was strange you were just sitting there not doing anything. Margaret.
God forbid we sit on our fucking porch.
Yeah. Margaret pushes past Jones and walks out of the kitchen, intent on walking outside to see where Edie could have come from. When Margaret gets to the living room, there's Edie on the front porch tapping on the window. Excitedly, Margaret says, See, that's her. Jones says, Margaret, there's nobody there. Margaret turns back.
Would you think they were all in on it? Or would you start to think you were crazy?
I would start to think I was crazy.
I feel like I would go back and forth.
Margaret turns back to the window, and Edie is now standing inside the house. Jesus, Edie, how did you get inside? Edie says, I'm sorry, Margaret. I wanted to tell you. I really did. I just enjoyed your company so much, and you really seemed like you needed a friend. Edie has tears in her eyes while she explains, I lived in this house before you and Hal. It was so lonely here. I never could find a way to live with the things in this house, not like you did. They terrified me. And it was so lonely. Margaret says, Edie, what did you do? Edie says, sleeping pills. Jones places her hand on Margaret's shoulder. Margaret, why don't you come back into the kitchen with us? She leads Margaret back to the kitchen. No one here thinks anything negative about you.
So you do then?
Right. I didn't think that until you said that. She leads Margaret to a chair. Your daughter told us about your behavior. She told us about the things you're saying you see, the weird things you've been doing around the house, moving things, forgetting things. Margaret, nobody else can see what you're seeing. Margaret says, sometimes people can't see them. They're not real, Margaret, Jones says. But I can touch them, Margaret says. Jones says, that can happen sometimes when people see things. The things seem very real to the person experiencing them. They talk to the person, tell them to do things, threaten them, but they aren't real. Jones continues the explanation for everything. Margaret is starting to get confused and wonders herself if Jones is right. Mm-hmm. Jones says, if Master Vale is in your head, who actually did that to Hal? Margaret says, I don't remember it. That was true. Margaret doesn't remember killing Hal, but she knew exactly what he looked like down there. She knew he was in the back corner of the basement where they had found Master Vale. She knew he was crumpled up against the wall, bones broken in on themselves. She knew, just like Jasper, he had had a match in his hand, never to be lit. Margaret says, does he have a matchstick in his hand? Coop nods. Yes, ma'am, he did. Jones takes Margaret's hand and says, Margaret, we want to help you. We need to take you down to the station to arrest you. But now that we know what you've been experiencing, we can make sure you go somewhere with people who know how to treat you. These things you've been seeing, they'll go away with medication. We can be sure you get that medication, get the care you need. Margaret could tell Jones was being sincere, and Margaret was so tired. Okay, she says. Margaret stands up and puts her hands behind her back. Coop puts the cuffs on while McDouglas reads her rights.
Is some shit about to go down?
Hold on. I mean, yeah. I'm not done yet. This isn't the end. She goes to jail, the end.
I don't know what that noise was.
Yeah. You're doing great, Margaret, Jones says. I'll go call this in. Jones goes out the front door to the patrol car to give a heads up to the station. Coop leads Margaret out of the kitchen while Price and McDouglas follow. Catherine walks with Margaret, planning to follow them in her car to the station. Catherine says, it's going to be okay. We're going to figure something out. Margaret says, I didn't want to tell you about any of this. I didn't want you to be afraid. I shouldn't have kept it from you. I should have told you. Catherine says, yeah, you should have. But I know you were just trying to protect me. Margaret says, I don't know what to do now. And Catherine says, what you have to. After all, needs must when the devil drives. Margaret stops walking abruptly. McDouglas says, Margaret, what's the problem? And then the moaning starts.
Can they hear it? Can they hear it?
Margaret thinks it's just in her head.
Is it like that scene on Monsters University when they are at that camp and they scare the adults and it's creepy AF?
I mean, I've seen Monsters University, but I have only seen it like once, maybe twice. So I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, are you mad at me?
It's a really good movie.
I
could probably act it out.
The first
no,
one.
you don't.
Monsters
you do. It's great. It's wonderful. But
better.
This one is just, after you watch it more than 20 times, you see all those little things,
little nuances,
little guys, and it's just.
Okay.
so the
The
moaning
starts.
started.
Margaret thinks it's just in her head, but McDouglas, Coop, and Price start looking around for the source of it. Click. The handcuffs on Margaret's wrists spring open and fall to the ground. Coop and Price grab their weapons. Margaret lifts her hands and says, "That wasn't me." "What's going on in there?" Jones asks, coming up the stairs on the front porch. The front door slams shut so hard the house shudders. Jones starts pounding on the door, turning the doorknob, unable to enter the house.
You upset the house.
Yeah. The house is pissed. Margaret turns to see the blood pouring down the stairs in a grotesque waterfall. A thick, meaty smell came with it,
Ew.
like pennies and rotting flesh.
No.
In moments, the blood pools at the bottom of the stairs, inching towards the group. Catherine screams, "What the hell?" Thud. A loud noise comes from the side of the house. Thud. Now from the front of the house. Thud, thud, thud.
So many thuds.
Thud. The sounds come faster and louder, attacking from every side. "The birds," Margaret says. Thud, 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 thud. From all angles, birds, large, black, and angry, scream their way into the sides of the house. They can see them through the window, and Coop yells, "What the hell is happening?" The moaning is even louder now. From out of the kitchen darts Angelica. She runs full tilt, her mouth open, stringy hair whipping about. Everyone screams. Coop and Price track her with their weapons as she snakes between all of them and disappears into the living room. They can see her now, Margaret thinks. Julian leaps down from the banister, landing on all fours, his intestines splattering on the ground. Then Elias erupts into the room, his mouth a spinning kaleidoscope of teeth, howling loudly enough to overpower the screaming. Catherine screams as the boy with no legs drags himself into the room, scrabbling and falling as he lifts his arms to point at the basement. Blythe crawls down the banister. She turns and shrieks at them, her jaw long. She leaps from the banister onto the ceiling and scurries toward the door.
Ew.
So while all that's happening, the birds are still pounding against the walls, loud and incessant. The screaming is ear-splitting. Coop and Price are whirling around like madmen, pointing their guns at everything, nearly falling as they slip in the blood. The screaming reaches the point where Margaret can't really tell if it's screaming or laughing, and then it all stops. The silence hits the house like a brick. Coop and Price lower their weapons. McDouglas turns toward Margaret. "What in the fuck was..." But he doesn't get a finish. It happens to Price first. The best way to describe what happens to Price is like when a spider gets sprayed with insecticide. It starts with his arms. His fingers and arms twist inward towards his chest,
No.
bending in on themselves until the bones give way. Then the bones in his forearms snap, splitting down the middle like dry branches. Price screams, blood squirting out of him as his skin pops open. His legs crack beneath him. His ankles turn themselves inward at the same sharp angle as his wrists. When his shins snap, his pants tear open, the splintered bone stabbing through the material of his uniform. Coop screams Price's name and kneels beside him, but is too afraid to touch him. Price's chest caves in on itself with a shattering noise, rupturing his organs. Price's screams turn guttural, and then it's over.
Jeez,
Silence
Louise.
returns to the room. That was tame.
Seriously?
Yes. Yeah, the end of this
Damn.
book is very gory. So,
I want to read this now.
Damn.
so I left that in just so you had an idea of what
Happens.
when you can keep it. Okay. So
Jesus.
he's done. Price is dead now.
Yeah, and
Silence
he's-
returns to the room. And then Coop's arms start to snap.
No.
Coop stares at his twisted arms, understanding what was to come. As Coop's body starts to break and bend, McDouglas points his gun at Margaret. "I don't know
fuck is
how
she
you're
doing
doing this, but you need to stop it right now." Margaret doesn't say anything. She just raises her hands in the air. "I'm going to count to 3, and then I'm going to shoot you in the fucking head." I feel like that's a little extreme.
It is a little bit.
But yeah, I'm sure he's freaking out.
Yeah. Because what the hell?
1, McDouglas yells. Coop was still and silent now, a broken spider on the floor. So, yeah, in the book it explains
Things.
what happened to Coop. It's pretty much similar. 2, McDouglas yells. Margaret says, I can't do anything. Catherine screams, put the fucking gun down. 3, says McDouglas, his voice suddenly serious. Then his chest snaps in half. Something wet hits Margaret's face.
Ew.
And McDouglas drops to his knees. McDouglas seems to go faster than Price and Coop had.
Well, he was threatening.
Jerking and spasming on the floor, shouting, gurgling, and cracking and twisting, and eventually going still.
Screaming and screaming.
3 bodies, bent and broken and lying in a pool of blood. The front door crashes open and Jones races in, her gun drawn. She lowers her gun as she gapes at all the carnage. Then her eyes land on something behind Margaret and Catherine, and she backs away. Margaret turns and sees Master Vale standing directly behind Catherine. He towers over Catherine, still and smiling, revealing rows of rotted teeth.
Oh.
He was so happy. Catherine sees it in Jones's face and in Margaret's face, as Master Vale's hand, all knotted knuckles and needle fingers, rests on Catherine's shoulder. No! Margaret shouts. Master Vale's arms close around Catherine like a bear trap. Catherine screams as he swiftly picks her up and pulls her down the basement stairs, the door slamming shut. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you scared?
I'm just confused
Okay.
and grossed out.
Okay.
Okay.
Margaret springs into action, racing towards the basement door, her feet slipping in blood. Margaret, stop! Jones yells. But then Jones's body is ripped from the ground and slams into the ceiling, her gun clattering to the floor. Margaret yanks on the basement door, struggling but eventually getting it open. There is nothing but blackness below. Margaret races down the stairs 2 at a time. As she reaches the bottom, she shouts, Theodore Vale, get your goddamn hands off my daughter. She races through the darkness to the little room where Master Vale had taken the children. The world flickering between the then and the now, Margaret sees Master Vale on top of Catherine, holding her down. Catherine is screaming, but Master Vale is laughing. No! Margaret screams as she runs and tackles him, knocking him off of Catherine. Master Vale roars beneath Margaret, and she can't get a good grip on him because he's writhing
He's
and
all
slippery.
slimy.
Yeah. His all sores are all oozy.
Ew. Hate oozy sores.
Catherine pushes herself away from him as fast as she can, but runs right into Hal's corpse, black and broken and dead like a spider. Catherine screams, and Master Vale's head snaps in her direction. Margaret's fist meets his jaw, and she yells to Catherine, Run! Get out of here! Margaret scrambles to her feet while Master Vale pulls himself up behind her. Margaret runs, dragging Catherine out of the little room and in the direction of the stairs. Go! Margaret yells, shoving Catherine toward the stairs. Get out of here this instant! Margaret hears Master Vale growl behind her.
I don't like the growling.
I can't growl.
I can't either. Grr.
Grr. Catherine runs toward the stairs, and Master Vale starts to chase after her, but Margaret steps in front of him.
What if she bites him?
No, absolutely not. He straightens and growls. You listen to me, you goddamn creature, Margaret says. I've let you live in this basement as a courtesy. I let you do whatever you like to me. I let you send your pranksters at me. I let you crush anyone who tried to take me from you. Master Vale took a step towards Margaret, but she didn't budge. But I am through. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Master Vale's lips curled back, baring his teeth.
Teeth.
That is my daughter. This is my house, and I refuse to share it with a monster. Master Vale is very close to Margaret now. She has to crane her neck to look him in the eye. She raises her arm and points toward the stairs. Now get the fuck out of my house. Master Vale.
Okay.
He roars, his mouth stretching open. Margaret takes a step forward. Get the fuck out of my house. Master Vale lunges at Margaret, but she dodges him, and he lunges again. Eventually, Master Vale pins Margaret down and wraps his hands around her neck. She sees the world through his eyes. She saw the hate his family had in their eyes when they looked at him, the beatings he received from George Vale. She saw how he had found the children and lured them back to his house. She saw how he starved to death alone. But it didn't stop there. She saw how he did something to Elias's mother that made Elias the way he was and made them both die slowly, full of hate. She saw how he whispered to Jasper night after night until Jasper did what he did to Frederica and Blythe. She saw how he sucked the joy out of Edie's soul and smiled down at her as she slipped into breathless sleep. And she saw how he hovered over Hal in his office, whispering and whispering, until Hal bought the cans of gasoline and Master Vale crushed him like a spider in the basement.
Like a spider in the basement.
Spider. There is a crack, and Master Vale is wrenched off Margaret. Catherine stands above Margaret holding the paddle.
Oh, man.
Catherine gets a few good hits with the paddle before Master Vale snatches it from her. He springs forward, arms outstretched, but then a figure steps in front of Margaret and Catherine. It's Frederica. I believe ma'am asked you to leave, she says.
Yeah.
Master Vale pauses for a second and then continues to move forward. Another figure appears next to Frederica. It's Edie. You'd better listen to my friend. She means business. And then Elias appears. Frederica and Edie step aside, and Elias lunges forward with gnashing teeth. Master Vale stumbles backwards. Elias sinks his teeth in as Master Vale roars in pain. Margaret, Catherine, Frederica, and Edie scream at Master Vale to get out and continue to scream. Charles and Constance appear and race toward Master Vale and viciously attack him, their sharp nails digging into his flesh, tearing him open.
They fucking did it.
What?
They did it. Isn't that his dad?
No.
Who was Charles and Constance?
Two of the ghosts, the ones with the Joker smile.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Was stabbed
That's
several
right.
times. So they attack him, their nails tearing him apart. They continue to scream, "Get out!" at Master Vale, driving him towards the stairs. Once he reaches the stairs, Julian appears and rips into Master Vale's stomach, pulling out his insides. Master Vale stumbles up the stairs as everyone follows, yelling at him to get out. Upstairs, Jones is still pinned to the ceiling, flies swarming from her open mouth.
Ew.
The September children continue ripping Master Vale apart. Blythe joins in, causing his body to bubble and burn. Master Vale stumbles down the porch steps and falls into the grass. Angelica stands over him. She clenches her hands together to make a fist and beats the crap out of his skull until he stops making noise. Master Vale wasn't the strong one in this house. In the end, Vale was the one that was weak. "Ma'am," Frederica says, and hands Margaret an axe. Margaret swings the axe down. There's a crack, and Master Vale is no more. A calm settles over everything. The day is lovely, the cloudless sky quiet and cheerful. The September children wander around the yard like they haven't seen the daylight in centuries. Angelica's face is now fixed. Constance's smile doesn't gape so frightfully. The boy with no legs now walking around on new legs.
Oh, new legs.
New legs. Jones emerges from the house in shock and says, "So your house, it's haunted," Margaret says. "A bit. I think we fixed it, though." Jones says, "I probably need to call somebody, or everybody," and walks to her cruiser. Some of the pranksters wander off into the woods, gone forever. Frederica says, "If ma'am doesn't mind, I'm rather tired. I think I'll rest now." Margaret says, "No, you've been wonderful, Frederica." Catherine and Margaret sit on the front porch in the rocking chairs. Catherine says, "I'm sorry I tried to have you institutionalized." Margaret says,
It's all right, babe.
"Oh, it's fine. I probably would have done the same thing. Thanks for your help down in the basement. You've got a mean swing." Catherine says, "Of course. Thanks for kicking that fucker's ass." Margaret says, "Oh, it was no bother." Frederica opens the door and pokes her head out. "I just wanted to bring it to Ma'am's attention that the house is in quite a bit of disarray and there are a substantial number of flies." Margaret says, "I know. Thank you, Frederica."
In case you didn't know about the flies, we got a fly issue.
Frederica says, "Would Ma'am like me to prepare some tea before I rest?" Margaret looks at Catherine and Catherine shrugs. Margaret smiles and says, "Tea sounds lovely." The end.
Aww. That was really cute and gross and disgusting.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that it ended on a good note. They should make that one into a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Are they?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know.
I don't see any stickers on the book.
I feel like. No, I'm thinking of something else. Don't listen to me.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. They should. That'd be cool.
That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Surprising that you left out a lot of the gore.
I did. I like the gore, but I know not everybody likes the gore.
Yeah.
So.
I have a comment.
Yes, child. I told you. Nothing. Go ahead.
I really like big gore.
I know you do.
Yeah. I'm usually indifferent. I've never encountered something that was too much. This might have been too much.
Really? And
I
I
mean,
was even tame.
I mean, if I read it,
Yeah.
it wasn't too much you saying it,
Yeah.
but knowing that it's extra.
Mm-hmm.
She did a good job with those descriptors, man.
Yeah.
Those pops and I forgot what it's called. No, I was gonna say what she said in there. Splintered.
Ah.
Jesus, I got there, but it's just such a good word because it's like you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and obviously I couldn't read all of it.
Yeah,
Like repeat all of it.
right.
But she has a lot of good. The way it was written was really good because you could just picture like all hell breaking loose and like the police freaking out,
Right.
Like not being able to figure out what's going on.
Yes.
So it's really good. What?
That was the last one.
Yeah, that's it. It was just a onesie.
Oh yeah. So that means next week I have to start mine.
Mm-hmm. Before I ask you what you're doing, what would you rate the book?
Ooh.
How many flies?
How many flies? I would give it
Out of 10?
10. Are they big? Are they like those
Big
big
fat
ass
ones.
horse flies?
Yeah, let's do that.
Honestly, like an 8.
That's pretty good.
There was a lot of things that I don't know that I've ever encountered in books. I usually don't read creepy books. I'm more of like a fantasy dumb bitch.
Smut.
Yeah. Although it's starting to piss me off because nobody does this. Nobody does that. Anyway,
We'll have that
we'll have
conversation.
a lot of those conversations. I forgot what I was talking about.
You don't usually read
Yes,
spooky books.
but there were some things like I loved how she incorporated how she was hearing everybody say he's down there, and like having her daughter singing that creepy lullaby on the radio. It's just those little touches. So I would give it an 8.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I
think
thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I would give it a 9.5.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah, because it was just so well written. And then there was a lot of, I can't think of the word. Like what she experienced with Hal and compared to what she was dealing with Master Vale.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And the mental health stuff I like because, you know,
Yeah.
me.
Brains.
But yeah.
Hell
Hey,
yeah.
good job.
was-
Good job, Carissa Orlando.
Yeah.
We enjoyed
Bravo.
that. Bravo.
We could kiss you.
All right. Why don't you tell us what book you're going to be doing?
Okay, guys. It is a Nora Roberts book.
Oh.
Don't be mad.
Here we go.
It's really good. I like Nora because her storylines are good. There's usually always magic involved. I've read so many of them that I can pinpoint who's going to end up with who. I mean, that's easy to figure out.
Just
but
like the recipe.
Yes.
Is always
But
the
the
same.
storylines, the way she like creates little worlds is very fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I like her books. Plus, book sex is good. I won't.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, so I'm excited to make her uncomfortable. And all of you uncomfortable. Because that's what I strive for.
Yeah.
But it's about these three friends. So she always, in her trilogies, has books. I can go into more detail later. I'm sorry. You got me all going. She normally has, it's like three friends. And then each book is a friend from their point of view. So the first book is
Okay.
the first girl of the three friend group. And there is a challenge that they have to do, and if they win, they get $1 million each. But it has to do with magic, and they're not given really a lot of guidance, and it's hard.
Are they magic?
They are not magic.
Okay. Well, I like magic.
I know.
And what Nora Roberts book did I read? Because I've only read one series.
Year one, I think.
Okay. That's what I read.
Yeah.
I liked the storyline.
See, that's what I'm saying. And her book sex isn't too long. So you
No.
can just like, it's like a couple paragraphs.
Yeah.
So just skip those paragraphs and get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like Fourth Wing.
Jesus Christ. That's like a whole chapter of boning. Good grief. Good grief.
Good grief.
But it's called The Key of Light.
Okay.
It is the Key trilogy.
Three books. Okay.
books.
Key of Life.
Yeah. Light.
Oh, light.
Yes.
Not the Tree of Life. The
No,
Key of Light.
Key of Light.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
So get ready for that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
All right. I think that's it.
Okay. Thanks for hanging. We got a lot of looks today. A lot of
yeah,
looks.
there's a lot of people out there looking at us.
I didn't like it.
No. We're going to try to get our own studio eventually.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I was going to say, follow us on social media.
Yes.
We'd love to hear from ya. Leave us comments. Be nice or not. I don't really care. I think that's it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. Love you.
Whoa.